Let's be real. Working from home and work-life balance is just an excuse for people who don't want to put in the effort, my new boss, Ms. Thompson, said, arms crossed, leaning into my space with a condescending grin. Half-hearted video calls can't replace real FaceTime. If you want to make it here, you need to be committed. Her words hit me like a slap. After 5 years with the company, through ups, downs, and the chaos of the pandemic, I had hoped this change in leadership would bring a new chapter. But it was clear, Ms. Thompson didn't care about my efforts or the results my team had delivered remotely. Hi, I'm Belle, a 36-year-old mother of 2, and this is the story of how I found myself at a crossroads, facing the choice to walk away from a potentially toxic environment I hoped would change or risk getting trapped in a mistake I'd regret forever. I wanted to believe things would improve. After Ms. Thompson's abrasive welcome speech, I told myself I just needed to be patient. New leaders take time to adjust, I reasoned. Maybe she'd come around once she saw the dedication I put into my work, even beyond the 8 to 5 hours. For a month, I tried. I juggled deadlines, answered late-night emails, and stayed long past quitting time, thinking it would prove my commitment. But the more I tried, the more I realized how futile it was. One morning, I was 15 minutes late. My son's school drop-off took longer than expected, and traffic had piled up. As soon as I arrived, Ms. Thompson was waiting. "It's recorded," she said flatly. "Don't let it happen again." I wanted to tell her how often I worked after hours, sacrificing family time. I wanted her to know that just last week, I'd skipped dinner with my kids to finish a project ahead of schedule. But I didn't say anything. I could see it in her eyes, it wouldn't matter. At every turn, Ms. Thompson's focus was on output, not well-being. She didn't care how many extra hours I worked or that I showed up every day despite exhaustion. All that mattered was being present. Her words echoed through every interaction. Work-life balance is just a buzzword people use to slack off. Productivity means being here, physically. Her dismissal of remote work stung the most. During the pandemic, we had adapted and excelled. My team proved that commitment wasn't about being chained to a desk. But Ms. Thompson couldn't see beyond her outdated mindset. Even worse, she expected round-the-clock availability, brushing off personal challenges as irrelevant. "If you can breathe, you can answer emails," she said once in a meeting, her tone devoid of empathy. By the end of the month, I was exhausted, not just physically, but emotionally. I had hoped Ms. Thompson would notice my efforts and at least acknowledge the extra time I put in. But all I got were reminders to be punctual and comments about needing to step up. I started to dread each morning. I thought of Emma and Jack, my 2 kids, and the promises I made to them about spending more time together. Instead, I found myself tethered to my laptop, missing bedtimes and milestones. It wasn't just frustrating, it was heartbreaking. I realized I was pouring my energy into a job that didn't care about me, a boss who saw my well-being as an afterthought. And the worst part? I regretted trying to make it work. Every extra hour, every ignored family moment, it had all been for nothing. One evening, after yet another long day, I sat in front of my computer, staring at my inbox, unable to focus. I couldn't keep pretending this job was worth the sacrifices. I saw my future unfolding before me. Missed birthdays, school plays I wouldn't attend, endless anxiety about meeting impossible demands. And then it hit me. I didn't have to stay. The fear of quitting had held me back, but now I saw it clearly. Staying in a place that drained me wasn't courage, it was a trap. If I stayed, I would lose more than just time with my kids. I would lose myself. With a pounding heart, I opened my laptop and began typing my resignation. Every keystroke felt like reclaiming a piece of myself that I'd lost in the past month. Subject: Resignation. Dear Ms. Thompson, after 5 years with the company, I have decided to resign, effective immediately. The past month has made it clear that this environment is no longer aligned with my values. The pandemic taught us that work-life balance isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. Dismissing it as laziness disregards both personal well-being and professional productivity. I need to prioritize my well-being and my family. Thank you for the opportunity, but it's time for me to move on. Sincerely, Belle. The moment the email left my outbox, a weight lifted off my chest. I didn't just quit a job, I reclaimed my sanity and my self-worth. I grabbed my things, ignoring the curious glances from my colleagues, and walked out the door. With each step, the oppressive weight of that office faded. When I stepped outside, the cool breeze brushed against my face, and for the first time in a long time, I felt free. In the weeks that followed, I gave myself time to heal and reflect on what I wanted from my career. I realized I didn't just want a paycheck. I wanted respect, trust, and balance. Eventually, I found a new job, a company that valued flexibility and saw remote work as a sign of trust, not laziness. It was a fresh start that aligned with my values and allowed me to be present for my family. Leaving after 5 years felt risky, but it was the best decision I ever made. I set an example for Emma and Jack that it's okay to walk away from situations that don't serve you, no matter how long you've been there. So, if you're stuck in a toxic environment, here's what I want you to know. You're not lazy for wanting balance. You're not selfish for valuing your well-being. And you're never wrong for walking away. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is say, enough.